Okay. I think we are live already. So, um,
Right.
firstly, Assalamualaikum, and welcome to our Gen TV and Engineer Story, organized by the Tertiary Career Conference and supported by AMP. So, today we have with us Brother Ashrof Yusoff and Brother Hilmi Anuar, who are young engineers in the railway industry. So, and even though they are still young, as compared to today morning's veteran engineers, but they have a lot of projects to share. Some of the interesting projects include the SGHSR High Speed Railway project managed by Brother Hilmi, and Brother Ashraf has also involved himself in a lot of projects in the newly upcoming Kim Chuan Depot, as well as having previous experience in the rolling stock management department, right?
Engineering.
So yeah, so thanks and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for today's session. My name is Aida, and this is my co-host Shazwan. And thank you also to our guest today. Yeah, how are you guys feeling?
Okay, good. Alhamdulillah.
How are you guys doing? Yeah,
So
good.
far, so good.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, great. Yeah. So before we start our session, just a quick shout out to anybody who's watching on YouTube Live to uh,
Like,
subscribe
subscribe.
and to subscribe on our channel and click like lah if you find this video useful, inshallah. Yeah. So yes, again, thank you guys for joining us today. So we have two speakers, and you both are in the rail services industry, and I think both of you from your fresh graduate, you've straight away joined into into this service engineer into this service industry and the rail industry. Sorry for Brother Hilmi, but for Brother Ashraf, I think your path was just a bit different. So maybe we can start off by introducing um, how you guys got into your respective industries, or how you guys started from a fresh graduate.
Yeah.
Brother, yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps, bro Ashraf, you can start off first. Share with us your journey, your so-called career
Okay,
journey.
sure. Okay, okay. I am an engineer in the railway industry for the past 5 years with SMRT Trains. I was previously in rolling stock engineering, which is what we did was we looked into the what I did was I looked into the mechanical and structural aspects of the North South East West line, Circle line, and BPLRT rolling stock, which is the trains. Okay, so if there's any mechanical issues or structural issues, then I'll be that guy lah to provide the engineering support. Okay, so but then recently, a few weeks back, I was recently posted to another department, which oversees the Circle Line 6 project extension, which actually covers the completion of the Circle Line, which is your additional of 3 more stations to complete your Circle Line loop. Okay, construction of the new KCDE, which is your Kim Chuan Depot extension, and also delivery of the new Circle Line trains yeah. But then prior to this, as mentioned, as a fresh grad, I did not straight away jump into the railway industry. Right from the start, I was doing engineering investigation and failure analysis at Matcor Technology and Services for 2 years. Okay, so it is it's a unique industry, if I can say so, because for failure investigation, failure analysis, and engineering investigation, right, you basically, if there is a failure, or if there's if there is a failure for whatever industry, let's say be it petrochem, aerospace, or even those kind of industrial accidents, right? Then you'll be the one who'll be called to go in to render your expertise to basically find out what is the root cause of the failure. Okay, so this, I mean, as you can, I think from this brief description, you can hear that it's actually quite exciting, lah. Right? I mean, to be fair, it is really exciting, lah.
A very time critical job.
Yes,
also,
it's very time critical job. So basically, whatever answers they want, right, is they want it yesterday, basically. If I can. So if you understand that, which means you understand that it is time critical and information sensitive. All right. But as you understand, also it becomes if you support all the various industries, you become so-called exposed to everything, but then you don't really become an expert at a certain aspect or certain yeah. So after 2 years, I decided that okay, maybe I wanted to take a step back. Okay, I've gathered all the broad so-called engineering expertise, in-depth engineering investigation and exposure. So I wanted to do something a bit more specific, like a bit. Wanted to delve in depth into something.
Right.
So Alhamdulillah, I think it was risky and all that, because at that point of time I met my ex-uni friend, my uni classmate, and then by chance, it was pure by chance. So I just mentioned to him, and it so happened that he was in SMRT.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, yeah, you know how it goes, right? Through networking
Yeah.
and all that. So I passed him my resume, and then next thing I know, yeah, I mean, I got a call, and 5 years later, I'm still here. Lah.
Alhamdulillah.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think that's really a shout out to all our students out there. So keep your friends close. Don't keep your friends close. Don't burn any bridges. So you
yeah,
never
yeah,
know
yeah,
who
yeah.
you never
Yes,
know who you
correct,
might
correct.
meet in the future. Lah. Really,
That's right, that's right.
really,
The
really,
Exactly.
power of
yeah.
networking.
Power of
Yeah,
networking.
sometimes it's like it could be a hi bye
Yeah.
classmate, during your tutorials and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
which is the case for this guy. But then you don't burn bridges. You keep a smile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You give
Just
salam. You like
just be
you
friendly lah.
yes, correct,
Agree, agree.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, you don't
Uh,
know 2 years, 3 years down the road, then something might happen.
a
Yeah.
random coffee session can change
Yeah,
your
You
it was
never know who you
initially
might encounter lah.
it was a
You might.
random encounter at a bus stop. To be honest, yeah,
wow, bus
yeah,
stop.
exactly,
Okay.
correct,
Wow,
yeah.
fantastic.
Stop and yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
thank you for sharing your career journey, bro Ashraf. How about now we move over to Hilmi. Let us know about your career journey. I believe you're part of the high speed rail, right?
Yes, yes. Funnily enough, right? I got my job through a networking session also. So
No.
Okay.
those of you who think networking session is just to like listen and okay, bye bye. Actually, it's quite useful. So those of you
Mm,
listening into this, you can really gain something from it. So what
Yeah.
happened was that my university they organized a networking session with a few people from LTA lah. So
Sorry, bro, Hilmi, can you increase your volume a little louder?
uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I think we
is
are
it is
losing
it
the volume.
is it okay now?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
better.
better.
Okay,
Better. Nice.
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So what I did was that
Okay.
in the networking session, I approached a few people and asked for their name card.
Okay.
After talking to them, then right after the session, I emailed them to say that. Oh, by the way, this is a tip for those of you who don't know what to do during networking sessions. I emailed them to say that I had such a good time, blah 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 blah, and then I submitted my resume to them. And same as Ashraf. A few weeks later, I just got a call, and then like, hey, you want this job or not? And then there I am in LTA lah.
Yeah.
So when I first entered LTA, I was this junior guy, come in, don't know anything.
Um,
Then I realized that what you learn in school, there's so much more that you don't know outside in the real world. And probably what you learn in school is like 10% or 5% of what you're gonna learn further on later.
mm,
So I started off doing utility diversions. Okay, so I graduated in civil engineering, right? So my job really mostly involves civil engineering works. So I did what are the things I did in LTA was utility diversion, structural works, deep excavation, mostly construction work, project management, that sort of thing. And then slowly, as I gain more experience, I get to touch more on the mechanical engineering. Although I was only civil engineering trainer, you get to touch on the mechanical engineering aspect, electrical engineering aspect. And then so there I learned that when you are in rail engineering, your knowledge does not only you cannot just know what civil engineering or I can mechanical engineering. The rest I don't want to know. It doesn't work like that.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from there you broaden your knowledge as well as deepen your expertise also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that's where I am like in 5 years.
yeah, and I think it's a very interesting point that you brought that up as well, because right now your current job job role and your job responsibility is called an interface manager, meaning that you
Correct.
have to communicate between different parties, different different contractors with different domains of expertise as
Correct.
well. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I
That
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you need to learn how these things interface. Basically they talk to each other. The
Yeah.
civil engineering talks to the mechanical engineering, talks to the electrical engineering. It doesn't work separately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So does anything ever get lost in translation when you guys are
Definitely.
communicating?
Definitely. When
Yeah.
it's a common thing. It's because humans we
Yeah.
deal with humans, not just
Robots.
robots or
Yeah.
machines at work. You deal with humans. Definitely you get stuff lost in translation.
Yeah.
That's where you learn and like you try to understand what are the terms they're talking about. Your terms and their terms may not be the same. So
Right.
you explain to them what you mean, and they try to explain to you, and then as you gain more experience, you realize like what are the things they are talking about lah. And then yeah,
Right. Okay.
Always keep learning, huh?
Yeah.
correct. That's
Prove
it.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah. So that actually leads us very nicely to our second question that we want to talk about. Like,
Mm.
um, in terms of developing, in terms of learning for your career, well, what are your current interests that you are planning to pursue in the near future? And actually, how do you plan to go about doing it? How do you see yourself upgrading or learning, adding more as an engineer? Yeah, maybe Brother Ashraf, you can start us off with the second question. Yeah,
Okay, so actually for engineering, right? I mean, it is common knowledge. You have so much types of engineering, but
yeah,
then I mean, personally, I feel that it is worthwhile if you find something that you like doing. All right, you can get up every morning and you say, okay. I mean, I'm happy to go to work and all that, right? So
mm,
it's worthwhile deepening. So why what I'm trying to say is that although I did not, because I started off not as a fresh grad in the railway industry, but then
mm,
I happened to be here, and over the years I realized that hey, actually, it is an industry that is you can learn a lot. All right, you can learn a lot. So because previously I've experienced back-end engineering, and now I'm exploring project management, I think which Bro Hilmi is already doing. So I mean, because the railway industry in Singapore is expanding, we all know this. All right, there is no lack of opportunity. I
mm,
mean, wherever you look, you can go to the authority side, like Brother Hilmi, or you can go to the car builder side, or to the OEM side, to the yeah. So because right now I'm on the operator side, so actually, funnily enough, I have sort of a 5-year, 10-year plan. Okay, so in the future, actually, I would like to experience on the authority side. I mean,
authority,
I like to, of course,
authority
but
side.
I would like to bring my experience up on the operator side first,
Yeah,
all right, and then subsequently, or maybe I will see, perhaps I would like to experience the car builder side as well, because
mm,
all this, right? Yeah, you have the backend engineering, and then you have the operator's point of view. You have the project management point of view, or you have the car manufacturer point of view. Basically, your Kawasaki, your Alstom, your Bombardier, and all that. So each of
mm,
them have their own motivation. All right, but at the end of the day, the goal is still the same: public transport in Singapore.
right.
Right. Okay. So actually, all this experience, right? The beauty of it, right? Railway in Singapore is that you, if if there is rezeki, right, you can actually experience all of this overseas as well, right? You can get sent to your wherever lah, right? But
Right.
then actually personally for myself, right, I'm actually looking to like I said, I'm after maybe a few years I would like to jump from authority, then perhaps come to the side. But actually I have this my end, my big goal, I would say, which is actually high speed rail, where Brother Helvi is actually. So
Right.
maybe yeah,
This is an
Alhamdulillah, I think
opportunity to
yes,
network.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. I'm thinking, I mean, this is how it all works.
Yeah.
Networking is
Yeah.
not something,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Step one, say hi. Step two,
Yeah,
send me
exactly.
your step three, send
Exactly.
resume.
Okay. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, I've had this high speed rail in mind for since
Yeah.
it came out actually.
Right.
So actually, it's really in railway in Singapore, it's really a matter of there's a lot of opportunity. So it's a matter of looking for it,
Mhm.
and but then once you have it, you grab it. All right. So you don't waste it.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Actually, related to that question, has there ever been an opportunity which you regretted, like you didn't take the chance, that you let it miss? I mean, yeah,
Mm,
either of you could answer this question. Like, was there any such opportunity where like, I should have done this, I should have done that? Yeah.
or maybe
So far don't have lah for
So
me.
far,
I'm in 5 years in the rail industry only.
yeah,
So in terms of regrets, there's not much regrets unless you talk about like this
yeah,
20, 30 years experience.
yeah.
Then maybe they have.
Hey, okay,
Yeah.
understand. Yep.
Not regret, but more of letting, like, on
Like,
hindsight, you didn't realize it was an opportunity. Then now I realize that it is. Yeah.
Mm, actually, okay, maybe if I can answer that question directly, right? Yeah, like what Hilmi said is only 5 years,
Yeah.
but actually there are things where how do I say this? There are certain things which you think may be good for you,
Yeah.
but through the greater powers, I mean, we know
Yeah.
through his powers, right? It is
Mm.
maybe it's not your time, it
Mm.
is not your it's not your rizki yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, personally, I believe if it's not meant for you, if it's not your rizki, you won't get it, no matter how hard you try.
Mm.
But
Mm.
then if it's yours,
Yeah.
there's no way that it can be stopped from reaching you.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, this to me, so that's one of my personal how do I say, my personal motto lah. I mean, yes, you try as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you try as hard as you can. But if you don't achieve it, then it's okay. All right,
Yeah.
because it's not meant for you.
Right.
But of course, you have to put hand on heart lah. You must say that okay,
Of course.
You really did your best for
I
it.
really did my best.
Yeah.
But then so there should not be any regrets lah. Unless okay, then you know deep inside you didn't do your best.
Yeah.
You half past six here and there. Then okay,
Yeah.
then that's on you lah. You
Yes.
see? Yeah. But then
Okay.
whether there's any regrets, you have to keep moving on with life lah.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Okay.
yes, sometimes you take a step back and say, okay, I could have done things better, but then what do I learn from it? If let's say I encounter a similar situation in the future. Yeah,
Mm.
so I don't think there should be any regrets for any of us. It's just a matter of how we learn from
Mm.
the lessons
Mm.
that we face, yeah. The
I
setbacks
Okay.
that
I
we
think
face. Correct.
important is the attitude that you have going forward
Yeah.
in meeting these challenges that you face.
Mm.
If you have the right attitude, then I don't think you will regret doing anything.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, brother Hilmi, we didn't get a chance to ask you like what are your current interests or what are your plans in the near future.
Okay, I think maybe I build on what Brother Ashraf was saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the rail industry, right, you have your authority, like what he said, LTA, like in this
Mm.
sense, and then you have the operators, which is SMRT, and
Mm.
then you have your renewal, your people who do renewing of the assets, that sort of thing, and
Mm.
then um, the thing about LTA that you may not be able to so-called get anywhere else, the experience is how the rail interacts with the other parts of public transport. So example, I'm in HSR. So
Okay.
you have people coming, taking the HSR down to, let's say, example, Singapore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stop there. The journey doesn't stop there for them. They go on to take buses. They go on to take MRT. They go
Yeah.
on to take private hire drivers,
Yeah.
the private cars. So how do these interact with them? Because you can't have a whole bunch of people coming through the high speed rail and then they get stuck there because there's no buses or there's no
All right.
train, or so you get to see this whole land transport plan being worked out. That's where I'm going at. I'm not only learning more about the rail itself, but how it interacts with other parts of the transport
I
system.
see. I see.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So it's really more of how the high-speed railway fits into the larger infrastructure of Singapore, and not only
Correct,
Singapore, but Malaysia as well, to a certain
correct,
Since right
extent.
now it's
Yeah.
like high
Even
correct,
speed
though you
rail
are
as well.
still SGHSR, you still have those considerations in mind.
correct. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like in that respect, right? That means that you don't only work with engineering industries as well. You work with you maybe you have to work with URA. You have to work with any other authorities that you have to work with besides
You
just
almost
engineering.
work with everyone under the sun. You work with
Everyone under.
URA, you work with PUB, you work with operators at SMRT,
Yeah.
you work with people in policy, you
Yeah.
work with people in finance, you work with, so basically you have to know a bit of what they do in order to interact with them. And in
Right.
the sense you learn a bit about their how things work
So
basically. Yeah, so how finance,
right.
how does the money come from Singapore government
Mm-hmm.
down the how the and then how the projects are being pushed out.
Right.
You learn about the processes in government. You learn
Right.
about a lot of things. Yeah,
Right.
so
You can
stuff that they
pretty
won't teach you in
much,
school, definitely.
ah,
And it'd be too much to cover in this
yeah,
session alone. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
you pretty much get to
So yeah.
see or understand the hierarchy and the chain of
Yeah.
command.
exactly.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
So it
And
seems that the two of you have a common interest, like that you guys want to have more of a helicopter view of the whole situation rather than just focusing on the small details after seeing what it has been like
Mm.
in the real service industry lah, for example. Okay, that's great. So yeah, that actually brings us to our third question as well. Like um what is your motivation for pursuing this career? And what advice actually kept motivating you while you were in your years of study that
Mm.
maybe you can share with some of our younger students today who are aspiring to be engineers, but then they are facing some obstacles or facing some hurdles.
Maybe I start.
Yeah.
Okay,
oh
actually
yeah, sure.
I have 2 points. I think personally these 2 points have helped me quite a lot. Okay, firstly is I think everyone in life, I mean in your studies or later on when you're working, you face setbacks, you face hurdles. So do not be disheartened if you face setbacks, because you must believe that there is sigma in everything that happens.
Mm.
All right, so you must believe there is a bigger plan for you. So but then what you can do is you don't dwell on your failures, but then you learn, and then you can pick yourself up quickly, and then you move on. Okay, so and then I guess maybe I can select a bit also. I mean, do not be shy to turn to him in your salah and your dua, and when you face difficulties. Then at the same time, whatever blessings you get, then you be thankful. All right, so it makes you appreciate the good when the bad happens, but then the bad is there for a good reason. All right, so that's one point number one. But point number two is be it in school, in your life, in work especially. Another tip is what I've experienced, right? Meeting people across various industries and people of different background is sometimes people are afraid to ask. All right, don't be afraid to ask, because sometimes people are afraid to ask because they think that their question might be stupid, or
Mm.
people may look down on them like, hey, like this kind of question, so you don't know. But you have to, I mean, you cannot be holding yourself to what people may think, because at the end of the day, if you don't know, you don't know. But then
Yeah.
what you can do is, all right, if you have any doubt, first you reconcile, first you think it through,
Yeah.
so and then you formulate your questions, formulate what you don't know, and then after that you approach whoever you want to approach for help now. Okay,
Mm.
that way it will show that you have thought things through,
Mhm.
and then you are unable to come up with a solution by yourself, and then you're actually seeking their advice and guidance. All right, so it's about the, I think maybe the berat mulut punya situation, that kind of thing. But then sometimes people are just maybe the Singaporeans, or maybe actually I've seen this quite common with Malays actually. All right, so don't be afraid to ask. But then when you do ask, but do show that you have actually thought things through, and actually project yourself in a professional manner lah. Right, macam like, yes, not to the point where it's sikit-sikit tanya lah, but then actually put all your questions together and then you ask. Yeah.
Right.
And
So yeah, I think it's also important to ask questions in a coherent manner. Like. That means that you
Correct.
have
Yes.
thought
Correct.
about you have definitely thought about the obstacles that you're facing, and
Mm.
then you are trying to structure why you are having this difficulty lah.
Correct.
You are
Correct.
trying
Yeah.
to frame your misunderstandings, or you are trying to frame your concepts in a way that the other
Yeah.
person can understand as well easily, so that
Yes.
they
Exactly.
can also address your question in a more
Yeah.
reasonable manner lah. Yeah. So I
So
think that's
maybe.
a skill that we all need to keep picking up. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
in
So
a
maybe
sense, we
it's
should
more.
be like do the best that we can to the best of our knowledge, I guess.
Correct at that point in time, and then
Yeah.
when when the best knowledge that you have is not enough, that's when you uh, ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Does this link to
Uh,
your quote as well? So sorry, Rohilmi. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. Go ahead, go ahead.
I believe like you have a quote that you live by. Have faith and patience, for there is hikmah in every trial that we face.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, it may sound like cliche. I don't know. It really sounds cliche to me, but then actually, every day for me, right, if I think about the things that happened in my life, in my career, in my personal life, and all that, right? It actually holds true. It really holds true. Like the hikmah is you may not see it like immediately. Many years down the road, like okay, something bad happened to me, or this is a challenging moment. But years down the road, or maybe even the next week, the next month, you realize like, hey, actually it happened for a reason, and a lot of good things actually come out of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have the time, but then really, as in, as I guess as Muslims, we really have to hold faith in this, because we just have to know that all bad things or all trials, it will end. But then when it ends, you'll be given something even better. And it's really something I believe in, because I've experienced it a lot personally. Yeah, because each maybe initially when you're young, maybe maybe when you are a student, all that, yeah, days are long and all that. But then when because for us, I guess we are a bit older, we've had a little bit more experience, so we can tell you. But then it may be difficult to accept at first, accept this for now. But then actually this really holds true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just have to be patient. You do your best. Then you must always remember that everything that happens for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a hikmah, and then something good will happen out of it. Yeah.
That's great. That's really great advice, I think. Yeah. So, what about brother Hilmi? Just now you were in the middle of saying something.
Oh yeah. Maybe my advice is for those more to do with your school. Uh, uh, those of you, I suppose, will be listening in are the ones that are probably more know your interest, and your interest is probably in engineering or rail engineering. Uh, do there are opportunities out there in your school that you may not know if you just follow the route that is planned out for you by your school.
Mm.
Okay, what I mean by this is, you know how schools have semesters, right? And in between semesters, you have your breaks. Some of you go for internship. That's one way of
Mm.
expanding your knowledge. The another is approaching schools
Mm.
and say that have an interest in engineering. How can I contribute? Or do you know anyone or any professors
Yeah.
who need help during your school
Yes.
break? All these can add to your resume, and when you put this in your resume, it's a lot easier for companies or employers to look and like, oh, this guy doesn't just go through your university or your poly education. He or she actually has interest. Look at
Mm.
what he or she is pursuing on top of the your academic year.
Yeah.
So things like competitions, engineering
Yeah.
competitions. It may not be engineering competitions. It could be like a business competition, programming competition, photography competition,
Mm.
videography competition. So
Yeah.
these are the things that nowadays people look at uh, aside from whether you get your GPA or not, or a good
Mm.
score for your university or your poly diploma. So that's what one advice I have for those still studying.
Mm.
And then at the same time, also take advantage of the networks that you build up through stuff like your professors, this kind of networking session, get contacts and say that basically ask lah, how do I build upon my resume, because I know some of you might be very worried about or those especially who are graduating might be very very worried about your job prospect.
All
uh,
right. All right.
there's a lot of retrenchment
All
going
right.
on now, and
Yes.
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get jobs. Yeah, so you need to think a bit harder than maybe your
Then
seniors are
someone
doing.
last
So
year. Oh, yeah.
yeah, there's someone last year,
Yeah.
so think out of the box. These are just some tips and tricks that we can teach you lah. What people will look out for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For yourself, did you participate in any of these competitions when you were in school?
Yes, I did. And then I also went on to ask my professor during a
Yeah.
semester break, right after a lecture. I say, Prof, do you have any, do you need any help in your research projects? I'm
Right.
very interested to join. I
Yeah.
gave my email. I dropped him an email right after.
Yeah.
Then he said, why not you work for me for one of my research projects? And I did it for 3 months, placed it in my resume. And
Great.
interestingly enough, they asked me about it during my
It was a
interview.
talking point for your interview, is it?
Yes, yes, exactly. Because it's
Okay.
something extra, It's
Yeah.
something
Okay,
extra
okay.
because all these people, they've looked through thousands of resumes
Mm.
and they are always looking for that extra thing.
Mm.
So don't be afraid to do the extra thing. It may not be engineering related. It could be like what I say, photography, videography,
Mm.
programming. It could be
Right.
anything. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically, in the interview process or when you are doing your job application,
Mm,
try to build up points that will become try to build up experience such that it becomes interviewing points lah, basically
correct.
points
Correct.
that can center the questions for your interview.
Yes, and also like make you stand out. Why?
Mm.
Like I want to interview you to find out why did you do this?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's really great.
So
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, I
this
think
links to your own personal quote. Stay
Correct.
curious.
yeah.
Correct. Correct. Stay curious to learn about
Mm.
anything. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Always
you for that.
expanding on your knowledge.
Okay. And how do you feel that has helped you with your your life so far? Not just maybe not just your career, but like as a whole. How has that helped you?
That helped me.
Mm.
Oh, I guess in a sense, when you stay curious, you're always open to learning and doing things. When people throw you challenges,
Mm.
you are not like, oh, this one a bit hard for me to do. Sorry, I
Yeah.
cannot do it. It's always like, okay,
Yeah.
let me try. I'll see what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yeah.
if let me know how I can improve. So this also reflects upon your attitude. People will like to work with you because you are always willing to try and learn.
Mm-hmm.
You are not someone who just shuts off.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay. That's good.
So that
Yeah.
would be like fantastic advice for
Yeah.
those
That's
going
great
to
advice,
graduate.
especially for
Yes.
yeah,
uh people who are still studying. There's really a lot of time for you to make use of your vacation time, those 3 months to fully beef up your resume. Don't waste them on going on vacation. Not that you can go on vacation now. Yeah. So yeah, it's really a time to maximize because like once you start working, you are trying to find all these small little pockets of time that you try to find to upgrade yourself to build up
Correct,
these
correct.
skills. Yeah.
Mm.
Actually, I have a question related to that because so far we have centered our questions based on students and assuming that they haven't started work and all. But for how about people who are just starting on in their career? I think one of the first things to really hit them in the face is that, oh, I'm spending so much time at my job, 8 to 6 p.m., 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Where do I find time to upgrade myself or where do I find time to learn? Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the things that I think for myself I am facing as well. Like I can learn on the job, but if I there are so many things that I want to learn as well outside of the job, but yeah, trying to find those little pockets of time is really so uh it's really like a gem to find these little pockets of time to upgrade myself lah. So what advice do you have for people who are just starting early in their careers? Yeah.
the question to me. Sorry.
Yeah, to
Oh,
anybody. Yeah.
okay. Okay. If your job is demanding,
Yeah.
I mean time is limited lah. You only have 24 hours. Eight hours spent on sleeping.
Yeah.
And if you really feel strongly that you want to pursue something outside, for let's say you want to pursue a higher education, where the activity or the kind of things that you need to do takes a lot of time,
Mm.
then you may want to switch jobs to something less demanding or talk to your bosses to say that look, I this is what I'm thinking, I'm going for my masters or something like
Yeah.
this, and then I need more
Yeah.
time. Would you possibly let me handle a less demanding job so that I can
Mm.
pursue this, because ultimately it may be for the benefit of the
Yeah.
company also if pursuing
True.
higher education. But let's say weekends you can do stuff. Personally for me right now, I'm experiencing the exact same thing that you're saying. My workload
Mm.
is quite high. So you got to manage and try to see uh, uh, when you can portion your day because you're not working from home. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So we have this a good opportunity to try to portion your day to have small pockets of time and plan out your day to like s- do a hobby or let's say learn something new.
Mm.
Yeah, you can always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my advice.
It's really capitalizing on all these little small pockets of time that
Exactly,
you
exactly.
thought that you didn't have, but you look back at your schedule, you organize, and
Yeah,
you realize, hey, actually, there's this 20 minutes that I have,
yeah,
or there's this 15 minutes that I have, waiting for the bus, or
yeah.
so
But
on.
definitely it will
Yeah.
not be like what school life is.
Definitely
Ah,
not.
This is the
yes,
reality
yes.
of the working world.
This is real.
Reality of the working world.
Yeah, yeah. It's still enough though. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah, yeah. For Brother Ashraf, do you have anything to add to that?
Mm, I think yeah, I think what Brother Hilmi mentioned because for I mean I've seen colleagues but then who are doing their masters and all that, right?
Yeah.
But it really helps. I guess it really depends on the company culture and all that. Also depends on your bosses. But then the way but he is right because if you talk to your superiors, you talk to your bosses, you talk to your colleagues, right? Then they will understand where you are coming from. Yeah, so you kind of have to manage expectations.
Mm.
Yes, you do have to seek understanding. Of course, you'll be great. You have your understanding bosses and all that. Yeah, it's about communicating.
Mm.
Like don't keep things to yourself. If let's say you are struggling a bit to meet deadlines and all that, then just speak up. Yeah, it's really. I believe in speaking up rather than you mess up, right? And then like it becomes worse, right? So if you know that you're not gonna be able to achieve something, then you're
Yeah.
just gonna speak up, ask for more time, ask for clarification, whatever.
Sure.
So if let's say you plan to do your masters or you plan to do further studies and all that, right? So open communication, I think, is the best lah. But also, it really depends on your company culture. Yeah.
Mm.
But then, if let's say you're talking about, I also believe in, let's say, small learning lah. I would say, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities down there around. You have like, okay. I mean, personally for myself, right? I mean, just sharing. I'm learning language on Duolingo. Right, it really takes
Oh,
like 15
bingo.
minutes. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, really, really. I mean, it kinds of like take your, not say dullness, but it takes you gives you a break from, let's say, your engineering work, your family work. Is something for yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, so I believe in, it may not be big, it may not be like a pursuing your masters or a PhD and all that, but all these small pockets of learning actually keeps your mind fresh. It
Mm.
keeps you having that something small sense of accomplishment for yourself. So rather than you go through the daily grind of work
Yeah.
Monday to Friday and then okay weekend. It keeps you look forward to it like every day.
Something to look forward to.
So yeah,
Okay.
something for yourself, something to look
Yeah.
forward. So it becomes like something you achieve for yourself.
I think there's also like I just came across this image on the internet where um it is also a release of great chemical agents in your brain to
Mm,
keep you happy as well. Like if you're ever going through a really long grind, one of the things that can release for example serotonin in your brain and keep you happy is really having small achievements
mm,
achieving things having small goals and then achieving them in your life lah. So and I don't think that they are small things either because for example for yourself you are learning a language but eventually if we are istikhara about it then in a few months time we can be speaking to some business associate overseas maybe
yeah,
we
correct.
never know lah. So I think we really cannot disregard that lah. And I think your point about the um upgrading and company culture is is a subtle point as well that we have to manage the expectations of those around us because at the end of the day we want to upgrade ourselves but we also have to get work done that's
Yeah,
something
correct,
that we have to look not just at our own interests but we have to assess the environment around us see whether it's
correct.
something that's supportive of us or not that supportive yeah
Right. Because
yeah
at the end of the day, yes, you want to achieve something personal, but then
yeah
we must always remember that in finding rezeki, you are an employee, so
Correct.
you cannot shortchange either.
Correct. You
So
still have your
either
amanah lah.
correct, yeah. So if something has to give, or something has to give way, or you find the middle ground for it lah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really great. It's been a really great 40 minutes so far with you guys. And for those of you watching at home, if you guys have been enjoying this conversation so far, don't forget to click like and subscribe.
Like,
So I can
subscribe,
emphasize this
share.
enough. So yeah, just to know where you guys are coming from, what you guys like about this video, what you guys don't like about this video. You can share it with us, and we can improve on our sessions next time as well. Yeah. So
Sure.
yeah. So click like and subscribe. Right. Okay. Yes, that's right. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us. Firstly, about um, where you are in your career right now, and and the advice that you keep sharing with us is that jangan berat mulut. Keep asking questions. Always communicate openly with not just your your manager, but also with your colleagues. Not just to get work done, but also like what Brother Hilmi said, is to learn all the various aspects of the industry lah. Yeah. So, and yeah, it's been a helpful conversation, and so I hope that it's been inspirational session as well lah, for those of you who have been tuning in lah. Yeah. Yeah. Are there
Sure.
any last words that you guys want to share with the audience before we call today a day?
No,
No?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
Okay.
For
If
me,
Yeah.
those of you
All
in
right.
school, really don't be afraid to approach your professors. They are human beings, so like us, and they are very more than willing to help you build up your resume. This is my just one takeaway.
Okay.
If there are no other takeaway for this session from me.
Okay.
So in summary, can I say that networking is key.
Yes.
You should not be afraid to ask. There will always be people who want to help. We just need to find them and then reach out.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, don't stop learning.
Yes.
Yes.
And keep faith and be patient.
Inshallah. Okay.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Okay. So I believe that's it from us over here. Any other questions or anything, just please feel free to type in the comment section down below.
Yeah.
And with that, I guess we can end this very nice, short, and casual conversation.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much thank you so much for your time. Yeah. And have a good day evening. Good day ahead. Yeah.
Yes. Assalamualaikum, everyone.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, dah. Stop recording
Okay,
already.
we're done.
Okay.
We're done.
Okay, good.
Right.
We are. It's going on YouTube. Is it this thing?
I think it's
yes,
already on
actually.
YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube. The one where you state. The one where you said,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we are live. That one is it? At the start.
It started then.
Yes, correct. When we say we are
Yeah.
live, right, and then that's
Uh,
when we
Oh, this
press live.
auto uploaded onto YouTube, is it? Interesting, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
playing live. It was
That's
playing live.
Yeah,
So you
actually,
mean it will be captured onto YouTube, your channel,
Yeah. I
Oh,
think the link is already up.
oh, okay.
yeah,
Wow.
correct. Because just now it was you heard some YouTube on the background, right? Because my I have my uni friend. He's in LTA right now. He just sent me the link. Yeah. Oh wait, what? Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. Okay.
I think we can just leave the chat lah. Just,
Okay. So that's it for this thing, right?
yeah, it is. Yeah. Thanks.